We are live. Greetings, everyone, wherever you are, whether in Nigeria, outside Nigeria. I bring you warm greetings right here in Jefferson City, Missouri, USA. It's currently 9 p.m. Nigerian time, 2 p.m. US Central Time, my time zone, my current time zone, and 3 p.m. US Eastern Time. And I bring you warm greetings to today's episode 38. Wow, I can't believe we've been doing this Nigerian Constitution, Know Your Right, for 38 episodes. So thank you all for having part of this journey. And it's always good. I'm always happy to have you. And if you are just joining the show, please take a minute of your time, share the link wherever you're watching it from, because this show is streamed in multiple platforms about YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. So any other platform you're using to watch, share that platform, like that platform, and invite more people to participate in the conversation, to participate in learning about the content of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended. This show, Nigerian Constitution, Know Your Right, is designed to empower you as an individual, to empower you as a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, or as a resident of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to understand what is contained in the Constitution, to understand how government work, to understand what leaders are supposed to do, and to understand what you are supposed to do as an individual, as a citizen, to be able to hold the leaders accountable. Because it's important. When we fold our arms and don't hold our leaders accountable, they go on a field trip and bastardize the processes, and governance become a shit show, to put it in the mild terms. Okay, so it is our responsibilities to participate in the process. And how do we participate in the process? It starts with the Constitution. It starts with understanding the Constitution, because the Constitution is the framework in which the system works. Okay, so once again, welcome to the show, Nigerian Constitution, Know Your Right. It's a show powered by the Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria, or GCSDN as an abbreviation. All right, we are here every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Nigerian time, or 2 p.m. US Central Time, or 3 p.m. US Eastern Time. All right, so let's get to the show. Today's topic is, okay, excuse me. Today's topic is obligations of the mass media and national ethics. Obligations of the mass media and national ethics. If you have been following this this show or this channel for the past 10 weeks, so we've spent about 10 weeks currently on chapter 2 of the Constitution. So if you have been following for the past 10 weeks, you will know that we are in chapter 2 of the Nigerian Constitution, 1999 as amended. And in that chapter 2, we've been covering section 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Today we'll be covering section 22 and 23. So those two sections cover about the mass media, their obligations, and then our national ethics. What is Nigerian national ethics? I see ethics as what we are made of, our DNA as a people, our DNA as Nigeria. So that's how I see ethics. You can see it however you see it, but after the conversation tonight, maybe you can have a different view or a different way of looking at ethics, or in this case, national ethics or Nigerian ethics. Okay. All right, so before we go on, I want to see the comments. So please use the comment section and participate in the show. Use the comment section, ask questions, say hello, say one or two things, participate actively, be engaged in the show. First comments from Rita English, our very, very active and consistent participant. She says, "Welcome, Dr. Edmond. I came here before you today." Are you sure you came here before me today? Are you sure? Okay. Well, thank you for coming here before me. And thank you for coming here almost every week. And I greatly appreciate it. So greetings all. Yes, greetings all viewers. Miss Rita is greeting you all, wherever you are around the globe. Greetings from Miss Rita English, the English woman that lives in Nigeria. All right. All right, all right. So let's get back to the meat of the matter. The meat of the matter, we're starting with section 22. What does section 22 of Nigerian Constitution say? Speaking about mass media, generally we'll talk about broadcasting services like the TV station, the radio station. Those are what we know as mass media in general terms. In the past, in many countries, at least in Nigeria specifically, our mass media was owned by the country or by the government, like what we used to know as NTA, growing over NTA, Nigerian Television was NTA itself. I forgot. If you know the meaning of NTA, please type it in the comment section. NTA is a TV station, national television network that's owned by the Nigerian government. So that was the TV station we know that usually people say that the Nigerian government used to push out their propaganda but that was what we had then, the NTA. So that was the mass media, and this mass media was supposed to be the fourth realm, or as some people refer to it, the fourth realm of government, and they help in holding the leaders accountable and and also providing information to the citizens. This was because captured in the constitution. The media was captured in the constitution. Although media now have changed over time from being just owned purely by the government to now some owned by private individual or private companies. Like we begin to see television, national stations like AIT, Africa Independent Television, Channels Television, and Arise Television, TVC television station, and so on and so forth. And other ones that are not national, maybe they are statewide, TV stations or radio station. We have the different FM stations as well. So these are examples of mass media that we have come to know in Nigeria. And the same thing is something is common in every other country around the world. They have some have some state-owned mass media agencies and some private-owned mass media agency. And in our case in Nigeria, our constitution actually captured this. So what does our constitution say about the mass media? Okay, what does our constitution say about mass media? The constitution says the press, the radio. That I'm reading about section 22 of our constitution now. Section 22 says the press, the radio, the television, and other agency of mass media shall at all times be free to uphold the fundamental objectives contained in this chapter and uphold the responsibility and accountability of government to the people. See, our constitution gave a clear-cut responsibility to the mass media, that is your newspaper agencies, your television agencies, and radio agencies. They are clearly told by our constitution they ought to, okay, they have been given the powers, the responsibility to uphold responsibility, accountability of government to the people. So they had to put the government in their toes, make sure the government is on their toes, the government do what they're supposed to do. And the fundamental enshrined in this chapter, after we've been covering this chapter, if you're flowing, we've covered the social objective of government, the political objective of government, the social objective of government, the economic objective of government, and so on and so forth. So these are the principles that have been outlined in this chapter. So the mass media, the TV station, the television station, the radio station, and the newspaper agency or any form of associated press, they are supposed to hold the government accountable to make sure that they live up to this social contract with the people. They live up to this fundamental principles and directive objective of government, which is what this chapter is about. Make sure the government does it. Yes, even though this chapter 2, is non-justiciable. What does that mean? One would say something is non-justiciable in the legal term. It means that the people cannot sue the government if the government did not do these things that they say they're going to do. So that is the drawback of our constitution. That is what promotes impunity, because our constitution gave us outline these wonderful things about what the government should do, the social objective of government, the educational objective of government, the economic objective of government, the foreign policies and treaties and how government should go about it. The constitution highlighted them, beautified, and then it made it non-justiciable. That means that if the government does not do those things, we cannot sue the government in court. So that is terrible. So, which I am hoping that in the new constitution, in the amendment in the future, they should amend it to make sure that this is justiciable. That when the government failed to meet with the basic fundamental principles or directive of a government as enshrined in chapter 2, that we can sue the government. That people should be able to sue the government. So that every government, when you come into office, you sit up and know that the people are going to sue you immediately. We don't have to wait for 4 whole years to vote you out, because it will give them 4 years to be a mess, to destroy our country, to destroy our economy, to destroy our educational system. We allow them 4 whole years to do all this mess, and we cannot sue them. We can't do anything. We'll have to wait to go to the ballot to vote them out. Is that okay? Do you think so? Okay. What do you feel about this? Do you feel what I feel? I want to hear your comment in the comment section. Do you think that chapter 2, the whole chapter 2, should be made to be justiciable so that we can sue the government when the government does not meet up to this basic fundamental direct principles of state policies? We should be able to sue them. So thank God, at least chapter 4 is justiciable. We can sue the government if they fail to meet up with chapter 4. So thank God for that. So we just need to find a way to make sure that future amendments should allow us to sue government when they cannot meet up with chapter 2. Chapter 4 is not enough. We need them to meet up with chapter 2 as well. Because chapter 2 is where it's in chapter 2 that they mentioned in the educational objective of government, that the government shall ensure wherever possible. So you say wherever possible, they will cut them a slack. The constraint cut them a slack. So the government, wherever possible, they should allow primary education to be free, secondary education to be free, and tertiary education to be free where possible. See, where possible. So that means the government is not even mandatory for them to provide education, free education. So the constraint is just recommending it. We don't need it to be recommended. We need it to be clear cut. The government must provide free primary education. The government must provide free secondary education. The government must provide free tertiary education. Must. And if they do not do this, the people should be able to sue the government to ensure that they do those things, that they meet up to those responsibility or those state policies. Okay? That is how I feel. How do you feel, my fellow Nigerians out there? How do you feel? Use the comment section to comment. If you even want to come online to be part of the studio, let me know. I will send you a link so that you can come online to the studio and let's have a chat in the next few minutes before the end of this show. Okay? So that is section 22. Let me read that again. Section 22. It says, the press, radio, television, and other agencies of mass media shall at all times be free to uphold the fundamental objective contained in this chapter and uphold the responsibility and accountability of government to the people. Is Nigerian government accountable to the Nigerian people? Is the Nigerian government accountable to the Nigerian people? In my opinion, that is a definite no. The Nigerian government is not accountable to the Nigerian people. And why is that? One, because chapter 2 that highlight the direct principles or the direct fundamental principles of state policy is non-justiciable. We cannot sue the government if they fail to do those things. So that is number one reason why the government is not accountable to us. They don't feel the need to be accountable to us because they know the people cannot do anything until 4 years later. And then two, why? Because, okay, even that 4 years later that we can act and vote them out, the government has seized the electioneering process, that rigging is now a common thing. I mean, have always been a common thing in Nigeria. The government officials know that, oh, in 4 years' time, oh, they cannot sue us throughout the 4 years, but in 4 years' time, they will have to vote and vote us out. Okay, we will rig the election that their vote will not count. So they have done this over and over and over again, every election cycle, and we have allowed that to remain. So that is another reason why they continue impunity. They continue being non-accountable to you and I, because they know, one, we cannot sue them. Two, we cannot vote them out because they've already have the machinery to rig the election, and then three, they can actually part of that rigging election is actually vote buying. They say, oh, we can even buy them off. We give them peanuts and buy their vote. So they know they can do those things, and hence, why should we be accountable to the Nigerian people? Nigerian people are foolish. They are foolish people. Let's do whatever we want to do and act with impunity. Nothing will happen. They cannot sue us. They cannot vote us out. So why be accountable to them? Why be accountable to them? So that is our dilemma. That is where we find ourselves as a country. But thankfully, thank God for Electoral Act 2022. It is supposed to be a game changer. It's supposed to be a game changer. We have seen it apply in Osun's election. We've seen it apply to Ikeh election. Ushampu said, he did some good there. It did some good. So is it going to be replicated in the national general election? This is going to be replicated. We are yet to see it. We're looking with our eyes is wide open, and we're observing and trying to see what is going to happen come February 2023, our general elections, to see how that can be applied in the broad spectrum across the nation as a whole. When you talk about presidential election and National Assembly elections, let's see how it applies. And then to the state elections for the remaining 20-something states that are yet to do their election. Okay. So that is that. I'm looking forward to your comment, your question, your contribution to the conversation so that we can move. We have spent 18 minutes in this. So let's change gear, because this topic is supposed to be the obligations of the mass media and national ethics. So let's change gear and move into national ethics. Are you here with me? Are you here with me? Well, maybe we should take a quick break. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and switch gear to national ethics. National ethics. If you have questions to the ones we've talked about, that is the media, they can comment. If you want to comment in the media, you're welcome to comment in the media, or you want to comment in national ethics, okay?
To What? One nation bound in freedom. Oh,
Yes,
wow.
she's in.
Wow, wow, wow. Did you guys feel the chills? Did you feel the chills? I was feeling the chill, man. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. I don't know. Do you feel what I felt? It's like that was the power of our national anthem as Nigerians. We want to be able to sing that national anthem with pride, with joy in our heart. I want to be able to sing that. Yeah, so that we can keep tenaciously building a nation where peace and justice shall reign. Where peace and justice shall reign. That is the nation I want to be associated with. Not what we have today. Not what we've had all these years. Okay? So I will take the comment. I think we have Rita commented while we're taking a break. So I'll read the comment and then we'll switch gear to section 23. All right, so of course, I want them to be sued and thrown out of national space with immediate effect. Well, we can't at the moment. That's why they can steal all they want and go pretend to be dying at court. Yes, yes, our political leaders, they are actors and actresses. When they are found, when they are even taken to the court in the areas that we can sue them, and they go there and begin upon theater act. So yeah, that was what Ms. Rita was referring to. So, well, hopefully things will change. Hopefully, chapter 2 will be justiciable, and also hopefully the Electoral Act will be very effective in preventing rigging of election, and we equipped our law enforcement and our legal system so that the law enforcement can arrest those that have been involved in vote buying or election malpractices, and then our legal system can sue them immediately and then and charge them and let them face the full consequences of the law and be prosecuted immediately without delay, because our legal arm of government is so slow. People are not prosecuted fast enough, and because some senators still have legal cases and they are receiving salaries because our legal process is slow. So hopefully that will change. All right, let's go to section 23. Section 23 is about national ethics. So the national ethics shall be discipline, integrity, dignity of labor, Labor Party, dignity of labor, social justice, religious tolerance, self-reliance, and patriotism. Patriotism, or as my Nigerian brother said, patriotism. I don't know. Patriots. Do we have true patriots in Nigeria? Who is a patriot? So this is what our national ethics should be. Our national ethics as Nigerians, the Nigerian national ethics shall be discipline. And Nigerian discipline, our leaders discipline. We'll take these things, these are values of our national ethics, because ethics are your value system, right? It's supposed to be your value system. So are these values that you can see in Nigerians, in the average Nigerian, or in the leadership or in the leaders of Nigerians? Okay, so discipline, integrity. Integrity doesn't exist in Nigerian government or in the majority of people involved in governance in Nigeria. Integrity, then dignity in labor. There's no dignity in labor in Nigeria. There's no dignity in labor. Yeah? But we want to restore dignity in labor. and will shall towards through our candidates, His Excellency Peter Gregory Obi, which is a candidate of the Global Coalition for Security and Democracy, and also my candidate for the 2023 general elections for the president of Nigeria come 2023. So social justice, religious tolerance, but there is no religious tolerance in Nigeria. Just a few months ago, a girl was killed in the northern state because they say she blasphemed against the prophet. And this has been happening over and over again. Yeah? There is zero religious tolerance in Nigeria. Then self-reliance and patriotism. Okay, let's take these things one by one. Discipline. Discipline. The value attached to obeying the rules or code of behavior. This value also includes the value of rewarding those who obey rules and punishing those who do not. That is what discipline should be about. But are we disciplined in Nigeria? No, because there is no reward of good behavior in Nigeria. No reward. No reward. It's like there is reward for bad behavior. If you're bad, if you're very, very bad in Nigeria, you get rewarded. You get a senator position, you get a House of Representatives position, and you get to steal the money of the Nigerian people. That is the reward of bad behavior. Then good behavior, zero reward. You became poor, you remain poor, and you have your children out of school. That is the reward of good behavior. We'll have to change this so that when you are good, you can live a good life, and those bad shall be punished for being bad and being not being disciplined. Okay. Then the other one is integrity. Another national ethics, national values as Nigerians supposed to be integrity. This is the value of being honest and having strong moral principle. Nigerian leaders have zero integrity. They are not honest. You see them campaign like Tinubu in 2015. It was campaigning saying they're going to restore, make $1 to $1. But look at what we have today. We have $1 to over 700 naira. So in some cases, we went up to like 910 naira for $1. And these are the government that promised that it's going to make it 1-to-1. So where is the truth in that? And they were promised to give school students grant and scholarship, 4-year scholarship. Where is that? How many people have received this 4-year scholarship? None. Look at floods victims in Nigeria today. The federal government have not done enough. They did not even plan for a national emergency when these things happen. But they know these things are bound to happen because they have not done the needful. They have not built the dams. They have not dredged our water bodies. So these things are bound to happen, but they've made zero national emergency preparedness. So, and you see, and that is a constant failure of our government. Now, next one is dignity in labor. So dignity in labor is a value that recognizes that diligence is good and all form of work ought to be respected and treated equally. So you're supposed to respect your gate man, pay them well. But gate man and gate man, what was a gate man in Nigeria? Security officers, like the private security men and women that man your gates, the gate of private homes or the gate of business places. We'll call them gate men or gate man in Nigerian palace for non-Nigerians watching this show across the world. So these folks are not respected, and people that do all manner of odd jobs in Nigeria don't get paid. Nigeria adopted a minimum wage of 30,000 naira, which is peanuts, by the way. But even though that this 30,000 naira is peanuts, not everyone is still paid this 30,000 naira. Some people are still, do you know that some people in Nigeria still make 10,000 naira a month? 10,000 naira a month. How can you survive with 10,000 naira a month? Just transportation will wipe away that 10,000 naira. So you have to live like 2 minutes away from work, like you can walk to work in order to survive with 10,000 naira a month. And even that 10,000 naira a month, they will insult you, they will abuse you and treat you so unfairly when you are receiving peanuts. So that is the Nigeria we have. That is the country we have. So there is no dignity in labor. So we need to restore dignity in labor so that our economy shall work, so that people can earn living wages, not peanuts, and people have respect for their workers, and their workers are treated with integrity and with dignity, I mean to say. So that is what we want to see. That is the kind of Nigeria we need to build, and that is what our constitution envisage. That's what our constitution promotes in this direct principles of government in Chapter 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 amendment, as amended. This is what the constitution envisaged, but we're not seeing it in reality. That is not our reality as a people. That is not. So we need to make it our reality. We need to make it our reality. Okay. Then the other one says social justice, right? The value that all people deserve access to wealth, opportunity, and privileges. Do you hear that? All people deserve access to what? Wealth, opportunities, and privileges. That is not the case in Nigeria. The wealth gap in Nigeria is so huge. They just released the National Bureau of Statistics, the NBS, released some stats last week, or a few days ago, not even a few days ago. They released some statistics that now Nigerian poor people have increased. Which is last year, if you remember, earlier this year, I made a broadcast. I was saying over 90 million people are living in abject poverty in Nigeria. Guess what? It's no longer 90 million people. The new statistics as a few days ago that was released by national agency, an agency in Nigeria. Is not, you're not saying, oh, this is a foreign number, this is imported number. This is a national agency of Nigeria, that National Bureau of Statistics released this number that over 132 million people are living in poverty in Nigeria. 132. Does that not get you mad? Does that not get you angry? 132 million people. 132 million people are living in poverty, abject poverty. Now, they don't have $2.50 a day to survive. What is $2.50 in, if you use official rate? $2.50 is about 1,200, 1,300 naira, 1,300 naira. So this will, let's even brand it out. Let's say 1,500 a day. So people don't even have 1,500 a day to survive on. These are people that live extreme poverty. Then poor people, $5 a day. $5 a day. How much is $5 a day? Let's use it. The standard exchange rate at 450. Let's make it 500 for my easy calculation. 500 times 5. That's 2,500. Yeah, 2,500. So this will don't even have 2,500 to survive a day. A day. If I see this statistic, it just makes me mad. This is the country we live in. This is our country, our beloved fatherland, motherland, the mother country. People are poor. People are not poor by their own making. These are people who are poor by the policies and decisions of government and the conscious stealing of their commonwealth by the people that are supposed to provide for them. You know, our constitution recognizes that the primary function of government is for the welfare, protection of life and properties of people, right? Protection of life and property, and then welfare of the people. You make sure you care for your people, but Nigerian government do not care for our people, and that is why we have abject poverty. That is why, as of a few days ago, the poverty rating of Nigeria, as Nigerians, increased to a state, a place, a current situation whereby over 130 million people are living in poverty in Nigeria. And now they have projected the Nigerian population about 260 million people. So 260 million people, and 132 of that 260 million people are living out there. That's more than half of the population. More than half of the population are poor. Not just poor, extremely poor. Extremely poor. And another maybe almost have, let's say, another quarter of the population are just poor, but they cannot survive with 5,000 naira a month, a day. I mean, that is effective. And then only about maybe 10% of the people are actually doing well in Nigeria. So if you're doing well in Nigeria, you are part of the small population in Nigeria that are doing well. That if you can feed yourself 3 square meal a day, you can pay your children's school fees, you can do certain little things you can do. You can go to the movies. Going to the movies is a luxury. Those who go to cinema, Wakanda forever. Wakanda came out, now people are going to see Wakanda forever. If you are one of those who go and see Wakanda forever, you are among the privileged few in Nigeria. And we need to wake up and fight for our poor brothers and sisters who cannot afford those luxuries, who cannot afford those privileges. We are all supposed to afford those privileges as Nigerians. As if you are a Nigerian, you're not supposed to be poor. You're not supposed to be poor as a Nigerian. But we have 130 million people of our brothers and sisters living in extreme poverty, while we are supposed to be the richest black country on earth. While we're supposed to be the #1 economic powerhouse in the whole of Africa. Now people are poor, and we still remain the poverty capital of the entire globe. For the past, how many years? 3 years, 4 years? When was Nigeria declared the poverty capital of Nigeria? About 2019. So about 3 years now, we have remained the poverty capital of the world for about 3 years. It's like we are heavyweight champion in poverty in the world. Man, at the verse. Let me continue before I explode in anger. Self-reliance, that is another virtue. Self-reliance is a value that recognizes that individuals do not need to conform to societal norms, but rather can follow his or her own instinct, thought, and decisions. People cannot follow their instincts in Nigeria. You cannot rely on yourself because you're too poor. A poor man cannot do anything. A poor woman cannot do anything. Yeah? Our children are poorer than their fathers in the past. Children are supposed to do better, should be supposed to be richer than their parents, because there's supposed to be progression from good to better, better to best. But in the case of the Nigerian story, it's retrogressive. Your parents were doing okay back in the day, and now the government have failed you. You're doing worse than your parents. That is what we have in Nigeria. There is no self-reliance. You see youth without employment. Our unemployment is over 33%. That is the real figure. It says over 54%. That's the real figure. But let's go with the official figure they gave us, about 33.3%. That's unemployment rate. The new figure that they gave us now, inflation, we say inflation in Nigeria, it was about 18%. Now the inflation in Nigeria as of a few days ago is now 21% inflation. So how can we be self-reliant? The flood have happened. About 19 states, over 19 states were affected by the flood. And out of those people, they have been pushed further into poverty. And they cannot, there's no self-reliance anymore. They have eroded self-reliance. Then religious tolerance is a value that recognizes that all religious beliefs ought to be respected and treated equally. That is not the case in Nigeria, but let's not talk about it, because some people will set you on fire and burn you, that you are blasphemous. So let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about it. Then patriotism, patriots, the value of strongly supporting, defending, and being devoted to our country, Nigeria. Are you still devoted to your country, Nigeria? Can you strongly defend Nigeria? I was watching a show by Rudolph Okonkwo, if you know him, or aka Dr. Damages, if you know Dr. Damages. He used to be a reporter under Sahara Report, a broadcaster under Sahara Reporters. Then now he has his own channel, Dr. Damages. So he has this 90 Minutes Africa. I watch sometimes. It's a long show. It takes hours. Sometimes I watch bits and pieces of it. Or some, in some situation, I've watched the whole 4 hours, 5 hours of the whole show. So that was a time he was asked Nigerians or his audience, "Can you die for Nigeria?" Almost everybody was say, "I cannot die for Nigeria." Majority of them, majority of those people live in abroad, just like me. Some live in US, some live in Europe, some live in Asia, and they say, "No, I cannot die for Nigeria," but they can die for America, they can die for Europe, they can die for some Asian country, but they cannot die for Nigeria. So patriots are declining by the minute in Nigeria. But we must increase the number of patriots. I am a patriot. Are you a patriot? Are you patriotic? Are you a compatriot? As our national anthem says, "Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria call obey." Nigeria is calling you, my brothers and sisters. Will you obey? Will you obey? Will you obey? This is where I leave you today. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something today. I hope you become a patriot. That is my prayers and my wish for each and every one of you as a Nigerian, whether in Nigeria or outside of Nigeria. And I welcome you to come again next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Nigerian time, as we'll continue the conversation with section 34 of our Constitution. And that should be the last section of chapter 2. And then the first Tuesday in December, which will start chapter 3, which talks about citizenship of Nigerians. Are you a citizen? We will find out who is a citizen of Nigeria come to first Tuesday of December. This is where I leave you. Bye-bye and have a good evening and a good day.